Hello, this is Bjorn from Borknagar, Trollfest, Cadaver. You're watching Richard Metal Fan.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Richard Metal Fan Interviews. This is episode number 129. And today's guest, we're talking to Bjorn Rønnow. Bjorn is a drummer from Norway. He plays with Borknagar, Malhas, Sphere, Trollfest, and Viper Sulfa. Today we're going to be talking to him about what got him into metal, what made him want to start playing drums, as well as going through his timeline and catalog. So, without further ado, let's go talk to Bjorn. So, what's up, guys? I'm here with Bjorn Rønnow from Borknagar, Trollfest, and a plethora of other bands. So, how are you doing today, Bjorn?
Yeah, very good, very good.
Good.
Just having some Easter vacation with the family.
Awesome. Where are you vacationing at?
Nice. In Lillehammer, Norway,
Ah,
up in the
awesome.
mountains,
Awesome.
skiing and all that stuff.
Nice. So kind of like the format is, I want to do like a quick rundown of your catalog and talk about like your journey as an artist from where you started to now. But
Yeah,
take me
sure.
back to young Bjorn. What were like the first bands that got you into metal? What made you want to start playing drums?
Right. Actually, I got my first pair of drumsticks for my 4th birthday because I was already ruining kitchen appliances and stuff like that. So I guess I started drumming to my dad's jazz records from about the age of 3.5. And then I actually played the violin
Wow.
from from age 4 until about 12. My parents are both classical musicians in a symphonic orchestra, so so they made this deal. I always wanted to play the drums from day one, but they were saying that you have to play something melodic first,
Yeah.
which I suspect was also because I was just too small physically to actually play the drums, and they probably didn't want the noise in the house. So they tried to get me into violin first, and the deal was when I had saved up enough money to buy my own drum kit, I could start playing the drums for real.
Yeah.
So when I was 12, I found the old used drum kit in the local newspaper that I could actually afford. So yeah, that was the last day I ever played the violin, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. People
And
say
from there, yeah, no, from there, I had a cousin who gave me a Rage Against the Machine Evil Empire record,
a
which
classic
was the first
album.
time. Yeah. Which I guess was the first time I heard something remotely heavy, I guess. So yeah, sat down behind the drum kit, tried to learn all the parts for that album. Then you had the Linkin Park Hybrid Theory.
Ooh, that was my shit when I was a kid.
Yeah. That was what really got me into metal, I guess, with some screaming
Yeah.
vocals and
Me
all
too.
that stuff. Yeah. I think there's a lot of us who
Yeah.
they helped bring a lot of people into the whole genre.
Yeah. Say if
Then
it, yeah. I always say if it wasn't for like Linkin Park, I wouldn't have gotten into like Cannibal Corpse and stuff. So yeah.
yeah, probably same here. Next was Slipknot.
Ooh,
I
another one of my favorites.
remember hearing them for the first time, and instantly within an hour I had taken all my savings and was heading into the city to buy the double pedal because I had no clue that was even a thing before I heard that. And from there, I think I never looked back really. Then I found, of course, all the Metallica, Iron Maiden, all of that old stuff. Yeah, since then I was hooked on metal.
Awesome. Awesome. And so kind of like going in order from your bands. I believe your first band was called Inbreed. Breed. I tried to look up some stuff online. I couldn't find anything.
Oh, I think it's all gone, unfortunately. It used to be up on MySpace,
Yeah.
but I think all of that is unavailable by now.
Yeah.
I had a band before that from when I was like 14 until 18, 17, called Synergy,
Yeah.
doing kind of yeah, we were all kind of into Dream Theater and more of the prog metal stuff at the time. So a lot of challenging stuff. So yeah, it was Synergy, Inbreed, and then I got a job in Sevenfield when I was 18, I think.
Yeah.
And they actually had a record deal with a small independent label.
Yeah, Ovis
So that was
Records.
like, yeah, yes, exactly, yeah. So that was the first time it felt kind of serious, where they sent us actually over to the US to record the album,
Wow.
our first album. So we spent a month in Phoenix, Arizona, at the Coma compound with Aaron Carey, recording the Sevenfield album.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was like your first time in the States.
Yeah, absolutely. And the best part of that whole thing, we were all 19 years old, 5 buddies,
Oh, wow.
going over to first LA, having a couple days. Then we stopped by Las Vegas, which I don't remember much from. and then we went to the studio, which we had booked for, I think, a month. But I did my drum parts in like 2.5, maybe 3 days. So I had almost a month to just hang out and go running around in the desert looking for snakes and stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, I had a very good time.
Yeah, that one Sevenfield album is great. It's a shame that they all split. I like it's very rare you hear a metalcore band from Norway, because mostly
Yeah.
metalcore is like either from America, with like the Massachusetts area with Killswitch Engage, and of course
Right.
California with As I Lay Dying, and of course UK with like Bring Me the Horizon, While She Sleeps, and then Australia with Parkway Drive.
Yeah.
But
very American influenced for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there's very rarely any Scandinavian metalcore bands. There's only one band from Sweden I've heard called Adept, but they're super underrated.
Yeah, I think I heard about them actually. And for us at the time, I think we didn't really have. This was, I guess, just around where online music streaming and stuff started to become a thing, where we had really no idea about what was out there a whole lot. So we listened to a lot of Killswitch Engage and also In Flames, which is pretty close to home in Gothenburg.
Yeah.
It's not exactly metalcore, of course, but still I had a lot of influences from In Flames, Soilwork, stuff like that. But the reason we split was actually kind of that we grew out of our own music a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of, we all started listening to Meshuggah and Gojira and way heavier stuff. So when we were writing our second album, we all felt at some point that this isn't really the music we want to play anymore.
Right.
So what's the point?
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, but then I went on to Sphere, which was a very good time.
Yeah.
More like Fair Factory meets Meshuggah with some melodic parts and yeah.
Yeah. I think you also did Trail of Tears around that time.
Yeah, that was actually that was in frustration during Sevenfield when we felt kind of stuck and bored. I just Googled Norwegian metal band seeks drummer or something like that, and found some notice from Trail of Tears, which said, "Yeah, we're an international touring band. We need a drummer." Went to an audition. Was like 20 years younger than the whole band, but I got the part. So it was my first opportunity to really go out and play real festivals and stuff like that.
Nice.
So it was a nice experience, but that's really not my type of music, to be totally honest. Very nice guys, very talented, but that was it was a good experience.
Yeah, and then you also in going to the next band, Viper Sophia, you did like the 2015 album Carving an Icon. I like that album. Tell me about like hooking up with those guys.
Yeah, that was after Trail of Tears kind of imploded. Had a band member with some personal problems who I don't even know. It was a whole ordeal.
Oh,
Suddenly all our social media accounts were the passwords were changed and crazy rants were posted as press statements everywhere from this person, and it was over like within a second. That band was just done. So then a couple of us from that band decided to join forces with Christer, also known as Morpheus, who used to play with Mayhem, and try to kind of make an experimental album with fusing really extreme metal and black metal riffs with more psychedelic melodic stuff, with Miriam from Ramset joining as a singer. So that was a very interesting experience, like strange music, you know.
Yeah.
It was the first time I really got to play proper blast beats and try the more extreme side of drumming, like for real.
Yeah.
So it was a
very gothy and also very power metal a little bit.
Yeah. It's quite a mix of stuff.
Yeah, and then you also did Malas. Is that how you say it?
Yeah. Oh, that is that's annoying to think about, because those guys reached out to me. I'd never heard about them. Norwegian band who had sent me a request to play, and I was like, I don't know, I never heard about the band. I checked it out, and they turn out to have one of, in my opinion, one of the best Norwegian metal records in ages. Like, it's so great. The one album they recorded. So I was like, shit, I have to do this. And I rehearsed with them for a long time. But, turns out this is a band with families and jobs and stuff like that. So it was extremely difficult to really get anything going. So at some point I had to move on to someone who could play a lot of shows, and I wanted to tour and really do a lot. So it didn't really work out, unfortunately. But for anyone who's never heard about them, that's an album to check out. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I need to check it out myself.
Do so. It's like a bit of Opeth mixed with Dimmu Borgir, mixed with it's amazing. Brilliant musicians.
Yeah, awesome. And then I believe the next thing up is Profane Burial. You did the Rosewater Park Legend in 2018. Tell me about that.
Yeah, that's another strange project. There's been quite a few of those. On that one, that's kind of André Åsli. It's a keyboard player, very talented composer of like classical orchestral parts and stuff, who I got to know a bit just through the scene throughout the years. And he wanted me to do this project, and he just sent me about 60 minutes, I think, of classical orchestra with nothing else. It was like, write drums for this.
Yeah.
So I sat down, tried to write metal drums just on top of a classical orchestra with nothing else, which was a very long and totally different approach to writing metal drums, I'd say.
Yeah.
When there's no guitar riffs or you have no clue where the song is supposed to go,
Yeah.
But I got Jostein, who now also plays with Borknagar, to join on the guitars. And it ended up being quite an interesting album, I think.
Yeah, it's great. And of course, you mentioned Borknagar going into probably one of my favorite albums of 2019, True North. I love this album. One of my favorite albums of 2019.
Thanks a lot, man.
How'd you hook up with like Oystein and Vortex and the rest and the guys with this album?
Yeah, I guess a part of that, it's not directly connected, but in 2014, I think, I got a offer on very short notice to do a tour with Trollfest.
Yeah.
Balkan metal humor band.
Yeah.
Very, very talented, fun guys.
Yeah.
So I went on this tour, and just as a stand-in drummer, and that was such an amazing experience. So that was kind of when I decided to, like, I need to do this more. to go touring and play live shows like on a regular basis. So I decided to move to Oslo Centrum. I managed somehow, quite randomly, to get a room in an apartment with Bård Kolstad.
Yeah, great drummer.
Yeah. He was at the time the drummer of Borknagar.
Yeah, currently killing it with Boris.
Yeah. So I rented a room from him, and he's of course an extremely busy guy with 10,000 projects at all times. So he always was like, hey, if I ever need a fill-in for Borknagar, can you learn some of the songs so you're kind of ready to just jump in if there's an emergency? So I learned the songs, and there was never any emergencies. So I never really got to use it. So I then after a while I got a steady job with Trollfest. Was touring a lot with them and kind of starting to maybe get a little bit more of a name for myself, something to show for, kind of.
Yeah.
With doing some real tours and festival stuff like that. And then at one point, Bård told me I'm going to quit Borknagar. So then I just started hassling Simon Vortex a lot every time I saw him around town or something, like,
yeah,
hey, let me know when there's an audition opening.
Yeah.
And finally, after a long time, they were ready to do some auditions, and I had already known quite a bit of the songs for years, so at that point, listening a lot to it. So I went to audition, got the job, and managed to also give them the tip about Jostein, because they also needed a guitar player at the same time.
Yeah.
Which I thought he would be the perfect fit for that band. Such a good songwriter and melodic, musical guitar player. So I guess that's how we ended up, through Bård Kolstad and a lot of just pushing to get that audition.
Yeah, and this was actually, funny enough, my introduction to Borknagar. And I remember a buddy of mine described it as like Borknagar is like the Norwegian Mastodon.
Huh. Yeah, that's a nice compliment, I'd say.
Yeah. I was actually had Lars on about a few weeks ago, and I told him if Borknagar is the Norwegian Mastodon, so that mean Mastodon is the American Borknagar?
Yeah, I can kind of see what you were saying there.
Yeah,
That's a nice compliment. Appreciate that. I love that band. So
yeah, it's one of my favorites. Of course, this album's great. Got signed by you guys from when I first saw you in Birmingham about a year ago, and of course saw you there, and I also saw you the next day in Atlanta. That was like a hell of a trip. And I'm I'm ready for another Borknagar show whenever you all come back to the States.
As soon as possible.
Yeah.
I can't wait to come back. I know all of the guys were super happy with the last time around. So as soon as we get the opportunity, I'm sure we'll jump on it.
Awesome. And I know you've also started also just finished drum tracks for the new album. So how far along is that?
Yeah, I think we're pretty much finished up with the drums last weekend. The songs are, of course, finished writing wise. So I think Øystein probably already started the guitar recordings over Easter in the past couple days. Then, as far as I know, guitars and bass are being recorded over the next month. Then you have the keyboards and the vocals, of course, takes a long time in Borknagar. There's a lot of stuff to be written and figured out. Makes up such a huge part of how the songs actually turn out. So as far as I know, I think the plan is to have it sent in for mixing at the end of the summer.
Awesome.
About release and stuff, I'm not sure yet, to be honest.
Yeah, probably near before the end of the year, maybe early next year.
Yeah, if I'm to guess, I'd say probably early next year, because the queues for just printing vinyls and stuff like that is insane after COVID.
Yeah.
I heard things about 6 months wait and stuff like that just to get stuff
crazy.
printed. So it's probably gonna take a little while, unfortunately, but as soon as possible.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, and then kind of moving on. I know same year 2019 you hooked up with Trollfest and you did Norwegian Fairy Tales. I think you mentioned that was a great album. Tell me about making that album.
Yeah, that was fun. On that album, they had a drummer since the very beginning of the band, which is almost 20 years running now. He's also an integral part of the songwriting in the band. But at some point, he got his family and he had been touring a lot. So it's like, I think I'm done with live drumming. So for Norwegian Fairy Tales, we actually did half the songs each. So he
Yeah,
did five and I did five.
so 50-50.
Yeah. Um, that whole record was kind of an idea to try to write around Norwegian folk music instead of the whole Balkan thing, which we've been doing a lot. I actually got my mom to play violin on that album.
Wow.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's just
sorry.
they're just a fun band.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. We're also working on a new album now, actually.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
Yeah.
the whole writing process with that band is absurd.
Yeah.
Like, no idea is too stupid to try out, no matter how far out something is. It's like, yeah, we'll give it a go, see where it ends up. And of course, we end up writing a lot of music that's never used, but it makes for a lot of interesting songwriting and jamming, you know.
Yeah, because I love the latest album, Flamingo Overlord. Hell of
Yeah.
an album title.
Yeah, we have a lot of creative souls in that band. Comes up with a lot of crazy stuff, so it's always a blast.
Yeah, I'm hoping Trollfest comes in towards the States. I would love to see them. I think it would be a fun
Yeah,
party.
that's a hell of a live show, I'll tell you that. It's
Yeah,
always crazy.
yeah,
So yeah, we were supposed to tour actually at the same time as the original Devastation tour with Borknagar,
yeah,
which was cancelled over COVID.
yeah.
Trollfest was supposed to tour the States at the same time,
Oh wow.
but we never got to fulfill that tour. How do you say it? So
Maybe one
I
day.
know absolutely a very, very strong wish in the band and the management and everybody. We definitely want to come over. But we're 8 people plus
Yeah,
sound crew. And with the visas and all that stuff, it's quite complicated to make it
yeah,
work both economically and just make it happen.
yeah, which is
Uh,
understandable.
yeah, it's a shame, that the US is quite a bit harder for European bands to come on tour than most of the world because
Yeah,
of the working visas and all that stuff. It's yeah, it's too bad. We'd probably be there every single year if it wasn't for that stuff.
yeah, and then of course the final thing we want to talk about. I know you also do session work. I know you back in February you worked with Flesh Meadow and you did a Damus Cadavra. Tell me about that.
Yeah, that is probably my number one favorite Norwegian band at the moment,
Yeah,
been for the past couple of years. So yeah, also good friends, which I know a long time. And I remember they showed me a demo like 5, 6 years back and wanted me to play the drums. And I just heard it and was like, there's no way I can do that. There's no way. So I just actually, that's the one time in my life I think I turned something down just for the fact that I felt like this is so great material and I can't possibly do it justice because it's such extreme music. But then yeah, they came back to me for this EP, which is a little bit more on the heavy groovy side, not all 270 BPM blast beats and stuff like that. So yeah, spent some days in the studio. I did one live show for them too, actually.
yeah,
I'm super happy with how it turned out. Really, really one of the absolute best Norwegian bands in very long time, in my opinion.
yeah,
They got a new drummer now who is also a killer.
yeah,
So if you ever see them in your area, make sure to go see them. Amazing band.
Yeah. If they come to the States, or I have to like freaking hoard over a bunch of money to like go to like Norway to see them.
Yeah, worth it in my opinion. They're amazing. You know, I try to catch every show nearby they ever play. I love that band, and it's interesting to see like their main guitar player. He has got to be like one of the best in the world at that type of guitar playing, like really world class. And every time I see them live, you can see on the very first row in front of the guitar player, you see like Destructor, who used to play with Morbid Angel, and people like that, always on first row at their shows, just studying this guy. Like, what the hell is he doing? He's like the favorite guitar player of most of the guitar legends we have around there. So yeah, definitely worth checking out.
Awesome. And kind of in the end, to wrap things up, what's next for you and your bands? Yeah, is there anything else you would like to plug?
I've been playing the live drums for Cadaver for the past I started right before COVID, so I guess I've been doing the live drums since COVID ended. That's been a blast. That's with the Dirk Verburen from Megadeth, who does the drums for the albums. So it's an honor to be filling his shoes. So we do quite a bit of live shows. Haven't done the States yet, but we were in Mexico a couple months back, and probably gonna try for the next album, which comes out late summer, to maybe get over to the States, I'm hoping. So that's going on. And other than that, there's some summer festivals with both Trollfest, Borknagar. Borknagar is going to South America in November, doing a couple shows with Lepers with Bård Kolstad, actually.
Nice.
That's going to be a blast. And then it's album release time at some point, I guess next winter. And we're all definitely hoping we'll follow that up with a lot of touring, both Europe, States, hopefully a lot of festivals, trying to really make a good run after that album release, since the last one with COVID got kind of fucked.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's what's going on.
Yeah, awesome. So everybody, Bjorn, Rønnow, we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, man.